Hi, I'm Linda Duy.
And hi, I'm Susan Munson.
We are co-founders of the Yorkville Community Band. This year, we are celebrating our 30th annual performance, and we would like to thank you and everyone that has participated with us over the years in making this an annual tradition for the Yorkville community. So it all started about 31 years ago when we were watching the 4th of July parade and realized that there was no music or band in the parade. Us both being of Yorkville traditions where the high school band typically marched the 4th of July parade, we knew that we had to do something about it.
It's the classic skit out of a comedy where we turned to each other and said, "We know, let's get the band back together." And so began our recruitment of fellow band members to put on this wonderful tradition.
We first hoped that we could get a half a dozen people of our classmates and alumni together on a float. And as we started making phone calls that year, yes, this was before internet, we suddenly had 60 members for our first parade performance. So of course, our first year we had many alumni join us, Yorkville alumni, including our band director from the mid-60s to the late 70s, Mr. Frank Hamelman, who was responsible for starting a lot of our marching traditions in Yorkville. He came and gave us his support to us, and it became a semi-band reunion that first year. I can also remember practicing in the old high school, which is now the High School Academy, in the band room, which sat behind the stage. I'm not sure what class is in there now, but we would practice marching, a lot of marching that first year, because that was our goal, just to be able to march in the parade. We would go through the parking lot and around the Beecher Center, practicing our corners and having a great time while we did it. We didn't have the concert music, of course, that first year, so we did have 2 parade tunes that we swapped back and forth to learn for that first year.
And as being organizers of this band, Linda and I had no idea what to expect, so we were making arrangements for all contingencies. Even how tired and heat exhaustion prone would the members be marching down the road. So we even had arranged for volunteers to spritz us and spray us with water if it appeared we needed some help. Surprisingly, we did very well. We all had a wonderful, wonderful time. And unlike Linda, where many of these members are not music majors, it had been 10 to 20 years since we'd broken out our instruments and we weren't exactly sure what was going to come out. We did beautifully. Although many members were very excited about taking part, they were very honest about their concerns, what would happen to their young children on the 4th of July. And we guaranteed we'd keep them occupied. We came up with the Candy Brigade, and that's how young children were encouraged to join us, so the parents wouldn't have to worry about where they were. They were up front, throwing out candy to the crowds. Another issue was what to wear, and thanks to Stevens here in town, we have year after year after year gotten coordinated shirts.
Our first year was, of course, our t-shirt with the exploding firecracker with music notations on it and the flag. That shirt, we went out and we asked for sponsors so people wouldn't have to pay for it. And those names were always listed on the back. I think we wore those shirts for at least 10 years. And then the date that you got your shirt was always listed in the bottom of the firecracker. So if you have an original, it will say July 5th because, again, it was like a Sunday 4th of July or something, and they celebrated on the 5th that first year. So it says July 5th, 1993 on the very first original red shirt.
And we often had members laughing about, we had so much on those shirts that they in essence were wrapped in plastic, and they were very warm. So after several years we moved to a different style of shirt and a more comfortable polo shirt. But prior to that, we actually enacted our whole uniform, where we realized, oh my gosh, we're going to do this and we might want to coordinate. Thus came in the white shorts, white socks, white shoes, and the red polo shirts.
July 5th, 1993, we headed out of the parking lot of the Beecher Center and headed down the same parade route that we use today in our first annual community band performance. We got to the end of the parade by the high school baseball field, by the water tower, and I can remember the whooping and hollering as if graduates were throwing their caps in the air. That same excitement, thinking, oh my gosh, we made it, and nobody passed out or collapsed during the parade. It was just a great, great memory, and a moment I still have very vivid in my mind. The response from the community that first year was amazing. They wanted more and more, so we gave them more the next year. And that's when we did the parade and started our concert in the park. This is an article from the Kendall County Record following our first year's performance. Just to read the highlighted section here. This year, another group of unpaid volunteers got together to make the 4th of July special. A community band was organized primarily with high school alumni who were once band members. Linda, Lise, and Susan Munson were the organizers. They deserve a lot of thanks, as do the band members who picked up their instruments after a few decades away from playing, rehearsed, and marched. They sounded great, and we especially enjoyed the efforts of baton twirler Justine Jopp and drum major Herb Wallace. Watching him in action during the parade, we could hardly believe it's been about 2 decades since Herb led a band in Yorkville. Judging by the applause of the people along the parade route, a lot have been looking forward to music in the parade. We hope the applause was enough thanks to make the band members want to get together every year for the 4th of July.
So our tradition began, and thus our active recruitment of more members, just letting people know what was happening here and that they could take part. As it's quoted in the record from 10 years ago or something on our 20th anniversary, the lead says, anyone who can play is welcome in the community band. And that is very true. We will accept anyone and everyone, regardless of age and their abilities. We just ask that they do the best they can, try so hard, and enjoy the excitement and the fun. Over the course of all of these years, we have had, by my estimation, I apologize if I'm leaving anybody else out, 9 conductors take part in this. They don't always conduct, but they are also members of the band because it is such an enjoyable experience, and we try to take all of the planning issues out of their hands so that they can just show up and have fun. And that's what it's been for 30 years, is Linda and I walking around town and people acknowledging us saying, you're the 4th of July ladies. They do know us as that, and that will be carved on my headstone. I am one of the 2 4th of July ladies here in the city of Yorkville. It has been a blast.
And over the course of the years, not only have we had professional musicians and band directors with us, but we've also had youngsters from as young as like 6th grade. So what's that, about 12 years old or so, all the way up into their 80s. We've had them from all across the country, from Wisconsin down to Texas, from California.
People fly in to take part in this.
Yes, but even from Japan. Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
Paul Myers has been in Japan and when he's in the country, has joined us over the years. So a wide range of people coming in.
And not only do Linda and I have so much fun organizing and taking part in this, but the members themselves have really looked forward to being recognized for their years of participation. We, after 5 years, realized, oh my gosh, maybe we should make a pin. So we made a 5-year pin, which then led to a 10-year pin, which then led to 15 and 20 and 25 and now 30. It's important to everyone, and if we miss a year, they will come back to us and say, I think you didn't count this year, and they're keeping an accurate head count in their own head, and they want not only the fun, but the recognition of taking part in this very, very important community-spirited event.
A favorite letter of mine that kind of sums up the whole community band idea was written by our high school counselor, Robert Fry, in a letter to the editor from the Kendall County Record. It reads, "A happening occurred in Yorkville, July 5th, 1993. That happening was the Yorkville Community Band. Although born and raised in Coal City, I have been part of this community at Yorkville High School for over 20 years. I was fortunate and honored to be asked to be part of this year's community band, which marched in the parade. Although I have played trombone professionally for almost 30 years, I have not marched or even read music since high school. I have to admit I was more than a bit leery of being able to perform in the parade. But it's not performing that was happening. It was the gathering together of so many of Yorkville's finest musicians, past, present, and future. It was magical for me, even at the few rehearsals we had. What pride all these musicians had, and rightly so. Even though it was rather hot on Saturday morning when we practiced and during the parade, no one complained. You could sense how good it felt for all of us to do this together. My deepest thanks goes to Linda and Sue for organizing this group. I know it must have taken many hours. My thanks also to all my fellow band members, some who came many, many miles away to be part of this group. Without sounding corny, I think many of us experienced the same thrill that baseball players feel at the old-timers game. How good it is to see so many people who are a part of Yorkville's rich musical tradition. The Yorkville Community Band is something I hope will become a tradition, and I hope even more musicians become a part of the group next year. I know I will be a part of this group as long as I am able. A final thank you to you all, fellow Yorkville Community Band members, for a day I will always treasure." We want to thank the community band members, both past and present, for their many years of participation, helping us to establish this community tradition.